All right, Couch Hustler. I guess this could have been a part two because the last video was kind of short anyway. So 524 21st Street, next door, literally next door. When I purchased that last one on 21st Street, sub two, the neighbor I met her, that same time when I was purchasing that one, and we maybe talked a couple times. I actually got to walk her property because she was, she liked her property. She was very a lot of people love to show off their property. So she let me walk it. I checked it out. Told her I'd be interested in buying it, but she didn't want to sell it the way I wanted to buy it. I wanted to buy it sub two, and she wanted to sell it outright and move on. And I think she might even had a realtor at the time, but she couldn't sell it. I mean, I remember having her on the market for some time, maybe like 3-4 years, and then eventually she called me and she wanted to sell it. So I told her this is how I'll buy it, and I took it over sub two. So I ended up getting the one right next door, 524 21st Street. The last one was 520 21st Street. Same community, same HOA. Very nice homes. This one was a 3-bedroom, maybe. The other one, yeah, they were all 3 bedrooms. So taking it over, same thing. I think we negotiated a little bit of money down on this one. I had to give her like 5,000 or 10,000 cash to be able to do the deal. So some of my deals started getting a little different. And the nicer the properties, some people got a little more sophisticated. I think you know what it was too. A lot of people were starting to build equity in their properties because the market was starting to go up a little bit. So people wanted a little bit more of their equity of what they had, built into the properties. Anyways, I ended up taking over her loan and giving her like anywhere from 5 to 10,000 cash, and her property purchase price I think was about 150,000 or 125,000. It says right here, 125,000. Payment was 1151 is what it was, and the HOA was only like $75 a month. So I took it over. Ended up selling it pretty quick, rent to own. To a lease option tenant. They gave me 20,000 down. This particular tenant actually referred me to another tenant, and then I ended up selling her friend a property too. Later on, I'll talk about that one and how I lost $180,000. Yeah, I lost $180,000 on a deal, but I'll talk about it later. And then I ended up selling her sister a property. Man, it just trickled down. So as people started, noticing who I was and what I was doing as lease options and trusting me. And man, reference goes a long way. Purchasing properties and selling properties, reference goes a long way. So also what I started doing is, because I was selling so many properties, I started making a list of everybody that I was working with. So I put their name and their phone number, right? And I had a list of probably 6-7 properties already, and now I got a list of like 30 people. But what I do anytime I have these meetings is I give these people the reference. That way they can call them. Sometimes it makes a difference on a deal. I've actually had people tell me that the reason why they did a deal with me is because they talked to my references. So I put all my references on there and I tell them, yeah, I've purchased all these people's properties. I took over their mortgages basically, and it has their phone numbers on there. They can contact them directly, and majority of people, I hope, are telling the truth and knowing that I am making all their payments on time and they've never had any issues. And that's probably why I've bought a lot of properties, to be honest with you, because my references are pretty good. So I highly recommend it if you're going to try to get involved in buying real estate and doing any kind of business. Really, is provide reference, man. Especially if the deals have gone well. Just put their phone number on there. I guess you can ask for permission to see if they want you to have their information on there, but I never did. I just put their phone number on there. It's not like they're gonna get constant phone calls, maybe they might get one call a year, maybe 2 calls a year, and they may not even get picked off the list, just depending on whoever they end up calling. But I recommend it. Anyways, it's probably made me a lot of deals. So these people actually bought this property, lease optioner. Once I took it over, the lease optioner took it over. They gave me 20,000 down. They turned it into an Airbnb. I found out through Joe, the neighbor, because he was a buddy of mine. We ended up becoming friends, him being a lease option tenant. He told me that it became an Airbnb. So this property became an Airbnb. And they never lived there, or they might have lived there for a little bit, but most of the time they were just renting it out, and they ended up getting a loan and paying it off. So both of these went through the normal traditional sell. Both of them ended up ending where they ended up getting they ended up getting loans and buying out the property. So it worked out for both of them. And I think they both, by the time they ended up getting loans, they ended up with some equity too. So they actually got their 20,000 back, or maybe even doubled their money. They had about 40,000, and I cleared probably about 50,000 on each one of them myself. So I was happy to help them out and to be able to do what they needed to do, so I could do what I needed to do. So there you go. There's number 7.